Welcome back. President Yamin Abdul Gayoom of the Maldives was in New Delhi on his first official foreign visit abroad after winning the elections in November last year. And he chose to meet President Pranab Mukherjee and Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh to further bilateral ties with India, its largest neighbor. President Pranab Mukherjee, in fact, reinforced India's desire to work closely with the Maldives in the Indian Ocean region, underlining the strong defense and security relationship between the two nations. The Maldivian president also assured Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh to amicably resolve all differences between the two countries, including over the cancellation of the Indian company GMR's contract to run Malé International Airport. And India extended a standby credit facility of $25 million to the Maldives for imports from India and agreed to meet the requirement of petroleum products in the island nation. And in an exclusive interview to Times Now's National Affairs editor Srinjoy Chaudhary and deputy news editor Meetu Jain, President Gayoom answered a range of questions on India's concerns about increasing Chinese influence on the island nation and on his country's special relationship with India.
You've had a very successful visit and a lot of economic opportunities have come up. Currently, as of now, how many economic opportunities will there be for Indian business? How easy will it be for Indian business in the Maldives?
Thank you indeed. This trip has been very wonderful for me, very satisfying trip. I made a point to meet with the Indian industry enterprise. I have briefly explained to them that we have a very open foreign investment policy and we are particularly looking forward to having overseas investments, especially from India. So Corporate India, I have reached out and I believe from the questions they asked, I believe there are quite a few of them who are serious about investing in Maldives.
But President Yamin, the run-up to your becoming president, the
Yes.
political situation was extremely fluid there and is likely to remain fluid in the days to come. What is the sense that where Indian businesses are concerned, what is the sense of confidence that you are giving them? And is there a possibility that perhaps in the days to come, if you look at just one example of, say, GMR,
Yes.
GMR became a symbol of anti-India sentiment during the
Right.
elections. Is there a sense perhaps that in the days to come, a company like GMR, which was actually the largest investment in the Maldives,
Right.
could perhaps one day build an airport for you? Is there a sentiment of that sort that is there in the Maldives?
We have had Indian investments for over 40 years and some have been very big, even bigger than GMR. For example, the SBI. SBI's first venture out of India has been to Maldives. And the biggest investment, most long-serving investment in Maldives from India has been SBI. Even now there are Indian investments. New investments, already existing investments. GMR is just an offshoot. It's a kind of skewed investment in Maldives. It's just an exception rather than the norm. And in the case of GMR also, what we have seen is that clearly, if you look at GMR, if you make an assessment as to how they were given a contract, there was lots of controversy around that issue. It is not through a fully liberal for investment regime. Parliament has at that time legislated a law against that. But in spite of that, President Nasheed contracted this negotiation and contracted an agreement with GMR. GMR also well knew that the Parliament had legislated against that. Parliamentary approval, according to the Constitution, was required for any major investment like that. Outsourcing an investment, privatizing a public investment, specific, clear permission was required by the Parliament. And in spite of all of those things, all of them have been marginalized, and President Nasheed chose to sidestep all of these. So that was the unfortunate incident as far as GMR is concerned. Having said that, we also note that even after the GMR incident, we have lots of other Indian investments, like the Tatua Group, like the Tata Group, and even yesterday's discussion showed that yes, GMR is an issue that we need to reckon with, mutually, amicably settle. But then I don't believe that is going to deter further investments from India. I don't think that is going to deter further investments from India. I'm committed to rule of law. I'm committed to upholding foreign investment law. So all investments registered, permitted, and contracted in accordance with foreign investment law will have maximum protection of our laws. Unfortunately, needless to say, but unfortunately, that was not the case with GMR. So we have an issue with GMR, but I'm hoping my administration would be able to resolve that.
So coming to this issue, moving away from business, and coming to the issue of security, the sense that is there in the Indian security establishment is the rise of Islamic fundamentalism in Maldives. Is this a sense that you get that where Islamic fundamentalism is concerned, is it just an area that political parties are exploiting because it's a politically convenient issue, or is there a sense that yes, fundamentalism is on the rise in the Maldives because there have been several instances. For example, on the Afpak border, you have Taliban training camps, and Maldivians have been found to be training there. There have been incidences where Maldivians have been killed in drone attacks, and there have also been incidences that in Maldives itself there is a a very willing population there, which is keen on this kind of a situation building up there.
As far as my administration is concerned, it is not an issue that we are too worried about. Yes, you have people with different perspectives on Islam, moderation or pure faith being exercised, but it is not an issue that comes to my attention as a security issue. When Maldivians go abroad, for example, training, the major problem has been that we have not got enough scholarships for us to send people for more liberal Islamic scholarships. So lots of people have been going to Pakistan, as you say, and while as young people, when you study in these universities, you come across all these kinds of unfortunate incidents. Yes, you will have deaths, you may have deaths, but that is not to say that it is an issue of grave concern to Maldives at this point in time.
There is a worry in India that terrorism will use Maldives as a stepping stone and enter India from the south. As you know, there have been fewer attacks in the southern part of India, and perhaps there is a genuine concern in India that this could happen from the Maldives. During your interaction here, has this issue come up for discussion, and what kind of assurances have you given to India?
This has been expressed by Indian authorities, and with seriousness. And any country like Maldives, we are surrounded by vast ocean. Yes, the opportunity is there, but I suppose we are both committed. This is the assurance I gave the Indian authorities, the Prime Minister, the Defense Minister, and also the National Security Advisor. We will do our best to combat terrorism. And we are perfectly in agreement with Indian sentiments on anti-terrorism activities. So we will be working very closely with India on that. And also the question of maritime piracy, that is also an area of concern to us. So we are jointly working with India on that. And the whole area of maritime security of the Indian Ocean, we are in perfect understanding with India on that. India is the biggest country in the region, and whatever that affects India affects Maldives too. And whatever affects Maldives, and if Maldives could be a launching pad to attacks on India, yes, it should be a worrisome issue, not only for India, also to Maldives. So we are in perfect understanding on that. So yes, seriously discussed, and we have both agreed on mutual maritime security action plan.
The Maldives occupies a very important place geographically, and there is again concern in India about the growing influence of China in the Indian Ocean. Do you see any military involvement with China, your country and China, that would worry India a lot in the future?
I don't think so. Maldives-China relationship is as old, perhaps, as Maldives-India relationship. And China has been a superpower. China has been an economic force in this region for quite some time now. A lot of the relationship we have with China is not military. It's largely commercial. We have had very good diplomatic ties with China and a lot of other countries. China is a very close country, but nowhere in the recent past have we given any source of concern to Indian leaders. The relationship with China is going to affect the relationship we have with India. The relationship we have with India is far too close to us.
If you have to choose between India and China, what would that be?
I don't suppose we make those choices. I suppose all of these are quite compatible. India has always come to our call. India has always been very gracious, grateful in providing whatever assistance we have asked for. It's not only in terrorist attacks or natural disasters, but also this particular visit, for example, it has nothing to do with any of the grave issues you're talking about. But from our point of view, a lot to do with commerce, a lot to do with commerce, and India has yielded to all our requests. So the relationship we have with India is very, very close to us, and we cherish that relationship. But India also knows that we maintain very good relations with China. So that has not been a problem to India at all. Indian leaders are also very mature, very seasoned politicians. So I think they have been assured well enough even during this trip. My administration's commitment to upholding Indo-Maldives relationship precedes any other relationship we have.
There is no denying the fact that China's shadow is on the increase over the islands. But the challenge for India is to retain its influence in a country that still takes New Delhi very seriously. That is all in this episode of Latitude. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.